everyone, my name is Beth and I'm with the Humble Warrior Collective. I don't know about you all, but sometimes whenever I come home and I'm kind of trying to wind down and get ready for bed, I have a hard time just settling in and relaxing enough so that I can rest and get a restful sleep that night. So I'm going to share with you a few things that help me, and you could use them when it's time to go to bed, or you could just use them during the day when you need a rest. And I have a few props today, but don't worry, they're things you'll already have around your house. So I have a stool. You could use a chair. You could also use the side of your bed. So this can all be done in your bed as well. I have a pillow. You could use one or two or more if you like. I have I have 3 blankets. You could use 2 or 3 blankets. And then I have a pair of socks because my feet get cold. And one last thing here, I have an extra sock. It's one that the dryer did not eat. And I've taken that sock and filled it up with some dried beans. You could also use rice or seeds. And you want it to be big enough so that you can cover your eyes with it. And you just fill that up with some beans and tie a knot in the end of it. So it feels kind of like a little weighted bean bag, but it should be soft. You know, you're going to put it over your eyes. All right, so I am in my living room on the hard floor, so that's why I'm on my yoga mat. But again, you could do this on your bed. You don't have to have a yoga mat for this at all. So we'll actually start in standing today. And again, you might want a chair or stool. You could also use the wall for this, but I'm going to use the stool here because it's handy. So I'll begin with my feet about hips width distance apart, and then I'm just going to notice how I feel in a standing position. Noticing if your knees are locked out, can you soften them a little bit? Can you soften your shoulders? And then slowly slide your hands down your legs, and let's take a forward fold. So this is where your chair might come in handy, or the side of your bed. Just to lean on a little bit. You might scoot out a little further and lengthen your spine. Maybe sway your hips a little side to side. And just let your head hang. And then I'm going to pull my stool in a little bit closer. Rest my arms here, and then rest my head for a moment. Taking some deep belly breaths. So breathing all the way down into your belly. And exhaling, soften everything. Taking about 2 or 3 more breaths here. And then using your hands, your arms to press the stool away from you. Slowly come back up to standing. And then let's take a forward fold once again without any support. So sliding your hands down your legs, come into a gentle forward fold. So knees are really soft. You might even put so much of a bend in your knees that you can support your upper body. And just let it kind of waterfall down for a moment. Gently shake your head yes or no. And then walk yourself back up to standing. I'm just using my legs to support me all the way up. And then come into a seated position. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my blankets to sit on. And I'm also going to turn the lights down a little bit because we're wanting to move into our rest and digest mode, and darkness or less light anyway will help with that. So let me turn a couple of these lights out. And then I'm going to take my glasses off as well. Okay, so I'm in a comfortable seat. My hips are supported by my blanket. And I find crisscross applesauce to be comfortable, but you may not. So feel free to sit in a way that feels best to you. And then just some nice side stretches. So let's inhale and reach our arms up. And then as you exhale, drop your right hand down and reach over with your left. And today we'll take our gaze, or we'll look towards the floor and soften our eyes. So this whole time, just keeping your eyelids about halfway closed. And then inhale to come up, reach up. Soft eyes. Exhale, other side. Left hand down, right arm reaches over. Look down. And take an inhale breath. Come back up to center. Reach up once again. And this time as you exhale, let's take a twist to the right. Just a really gentle twist. Keep breathing all the way down into your belly. Fill your belly up like a soft balloon. And then unwind, come to center, take an in-breath. And as you exhale, twist to the left. And then come back through the center. All right, one last thing before we make our way to our backs. So this time, I think I'll use 2 blankets because I'd really like to have one underneath my knees. We'll come into a child's pose here with a lot of support. So I'm going to have a blanket underneath my knees, and I'm going to widen my knees and bring my big toes together behind me. And this is where your pillow, maybe your other blankets might come in handy. So I'm going to bring that pillow in nice and close, stack a couple of blankets on top of it. And then I'm threading my arms underneath my pillow, and letting my hips drop to my heels, bringing my upper body forward. And turn your head in a direction that feels most comfortable for your neck. Close your eyes and settle in. And you could even take one of your blankets to your low back for a little extra weight. And as you settle into your child's pose, focus your breath into the back side of your body. The back of your pelvis, your low spine, your mid spine, and that space right between your shoulder blades. Can you soften there? Feeling your rib cage expanding side to side and front to back with each inhale. Softening everything down into your pillow, into the floor with your exhale breath. And switching the turn of your face whenever you feel like it. Continuing to settle and breathe. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Right, slowly untuck your arms if they're under your pillow. Press your palms into the floor. Just feel the floor or your bed if you're in your bed. Just feel it for a moment. And then put some pressure down into your hands. Lift yourself up slowly. Look down as you do this. Walk your hands in, your spine up. Pause and take a breath here. All right, so now we'll make our way to the wall. So if you're in your bed, you could use the wall behind your bed. I would recommend a pillow or a blanket where your hips are going to go. So it'll be underneath your hips near the wall. I'm going to use a blanket today though. So I've got my blanket folded a couple of times. Not too thick, not too thin. And right up against the wall. And then I'm going to make myself a little bit of a pillow with a blanket, or actually we'll just go ahead and use our pillow. And then coming into this position in a little while, I know that I'll want a little bit of weight across my hips. So I'm going to take a folded up blanket and just have it handy. One other thing, definitely time to put the socks on if you have cold feet. And have your eye pillow handy. So again, maybe you have a little bean bag with dried up beans in it made out of sock, or a plastic bag, or just an eye covering like a washcloth. So that'll be close by as well. So how to get your legs up the wall, right? Some people can just scooch right up, no problem. Some people can't. So this is my way of recommending to get into it. So I like to take one hip up against the wall. So I have my right hip up against the wall, and I'm going to drop down to my left elbow, and then reach my legs up. Lay everything down, and then I kind of walk one hip and then the other till I'm closer to the wall. You don't have to be right up against it, but you want to be fairly close. And this might be where you determine if you want to fold your blanket up to have a little bit more height underneath your hips. Situate your pillow so that your neck and your head are completely supported. And let's start with some ankle circles. So just circling your feet one direction and then the other. Maybe your wrists too, your hands. And then find stillness here for a moment. Let your arms rest either on the floor, on your body, wherever feels most natural. Let your knees soften. And we want to be able to keep our legs here without any effort. So give them a moment to settle. Imagine your femurs, your thigh bones, just kind of sinking downward into your hip sockets. And from here, let's start to separate our feet a little bit. So as much space as feels comfortable to you. And that might be right here, or it might feel good to reach your feet apart further. See if you can continually soften your feet, soften your legs, your knees. You might take your hands underneath your legs for support. Even just that gentle touch can feel supportive. And as you rest here, your legs might start to give way one and then the other, kind of a herky-jerky feeling. Just let that sensation happen, let that movement happen on its own, no forcing, no resisting. Let's take our hands to our belly and focus on our breath a little bit here. So breathing into your hands, fill your belly up. As you exhale, feel your belly soften. Inhale. Blow up your balloon, soft balloon of a belly. And exhaling, slowly deflating. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Alright, take your hands to the outside of your legs. Put a soft bend in your knees and let's help our legs slide back up, feet to 12 o'clock. Wiggle them out a little bit. And then keeping your left leg straight, put a bend in your right knee and slide your heel down the wall. Find an interlaced finger grip over the top of your right shin, and just for a moment, hug your right leg in. And from here, let's soften our grip and then take our right ankle over to the top of our left thigh, creating sort of a figure 4 type of a shape. So you can rest right here. You could take your your right hand and press your right leg towards the wall a little bit. breathing into sensation. And if you like, you could bend your left knee and let your left foot slide down the wall as well. And this is going to create some more sensation, a little more intense sensation. All right, let's go ahead and straighten the left leg. Release your right leg to meet your left. Both feet back up at 12 o'clock. Give your legs a little shake. And then keeping your right leg straight, bend your left knee, let your foot slide down the wall. And find that figure 4 shape again on this opposite side. So ankle to the top of your right thigh. And maybe you take your hand and press your left leg towards the wall. Noticing if this side maybe feels a little different than the other. And again, if you like, bending your right knee this time, letting your right foot slide towards the wall or down the wall. And remembering that if this feels a little too intense, you have complete control over how intense it gets. You can always back off the pose a little bit. Let's go ahead and straighten the right knee. Release your left leg to meet your right. Both feet up at 12 o'clock. Give them a little wiggle, a little shake. And then let's bring our ankles together. Let both knees bend. Slide your feet down the wall. Just keep sliding till they stop. Wherever they stop is right where you can be. And then opening your knees like pages of a book, bringing the soles of your feet together. And from here, I like to support my legs with my hands, just some gentle pressure into the legs to support them. Breathing all the way down into your belly, filling up your balloon. As you exhale, slowly deflate your balloon. Stay with that calm breath. Know where to be, know things to be done. Being fully present with your breath. Let's take 3 more breaths right here. hands to the outside of your knees. Gently close your book. Slide your feet back up to 12 o'clock. Take a breath, let your hips settle. And then maybe you reach over for your eye pillow and an extra blanket. You might place that blanket across your hips or your belly to add a little bit of weight. Or you could take it up to your feet. Sometimes that is a nice feeling of a little weight coming down through the legs. So deciding where you feel most comfortable. And if you would like to continue without your legs up the wall, by all means, roll yourself over to one side and press out, maybe laying on your back or coming into seated position. Once you decide on the position that you want to be in, see if you can make yourself even more settled, even more comfortable there. So I want you to stay where you're most comfortable, whether that's laying down, legs up the wall, or sitting up. And I'm going to come up to seated to talk you through a little meditation. So no matter your position, let your body settle just where it is. Feel fully supported by the floor beneath you, as if it were coming up to hold you. And begin to notice the sound of your own breath. Maybe even listening for the sound of your own heartbeat. And then expanding your hearing just a little bit. Notice if you can hear any sounds right around you. Maybe you hear your heater or air conditioning kicking on and off, or a fan in your room. Or maybe sounds of your pet, if you have a pet. And then expanding a little bit further, open your ears a little bit more to hear sounds that are happening outside of the room that you're in. Maybe in the room next to you, or in your kitchen, or down the hall. And then even further, can you notice the sounds happening outside of the building or the house or the apartment or home that you're in? you hear any traffic noises or sounds of nature? And then slowly let's begin to bring our awareness of hearing back in a little bit closer. So once again, noticing the sounds within your home or the building structure that you're in. And even closer, can you hear different noises just outside of your room? Maybe down the hall or in an adjacent room. And then closer in, back within your own room. And even closer, back to the sounds of your own body. Your own heartbeat. Your own breath as it travels in and out of your body. Reminding yourself you are completely supported by the earth beneath you. You are safe to rest just as you are. I invite you to stay in your resting position. And come out whenever you feel like you are ready, whenever your body feels ready. Thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you rest well.